Yeah, as soon as I see it come up, I will click out of it and then come back to you.
Okay.
Come up. There we go. We're on.
Yes. Hello, hello. Happy Magic Monday.
Happy Magic Monday. Hey, Megan.
Hi.
Yay, it's Monday.
Yep.
Look at this great new t-shirt I got. Isn't that pretty?
Oh, that is pretty. Whisper words of wisdom.
And it says, let it be.
Very nice.
If you're old enough, you know that that's a Beatles song.
Let it be.
Talks.
Let it be.
That's right. Whisper words of wisdom.
We're going into let it go.
No, yeah, right. Let it be. Be at peace with everything. Happy Magic Monday. I just last week, as you know, Megan, I did my roundtable, the essence of extraordinary. And so I thought we'd chat a little bit about extraordinary living, because that's something you and I chat about on the regular. And it's what we have created in our lives. Both of us definitely live it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So were you going to say something?
No, just that I think that essence of extraordinary, living our extraordinary lives. And for those out there who are also living their extraordinary lives or wanting, you know, support in how to live an extraordinary life, where I think there's a lot of misconception is what an extraordinary life is, which is actually different for every single person, right? Like it's so different for every single person. And so that's what I love about what you do is helping those come home to what is an extraordinary life for you, which doesn't actually have to be what you've always thought it was. It could be something totally different. It could be what someone else, like that saying of one man's trash is another man's treasure, right? Like what someone might think is like dreadful could be heaven for you. And so it's actually having the courage to look at, oh, this is what an extraordinarily life looks like for me, even though I thought that was not it.
Right, right. Yeah. It's so different. And what I like to get away from is away from that I can live my extraordinary life after I make this kind of money. First, I need to have this much money in the bank. First, I need to, make this, I need to have this kind of income to live extraordinarily. And I shared with you a couple of days ago that over the weekend, I had a dream, and I woke up with a message that said, discover the rest of you, become the best of you. And it was such an awareness. It was like a light bulb going on, going, oh, yes. Extraordinary living comes from truly excavating, not truly excavating who you truly are. And we lose ourselves in the programming of the matrix, right? We don't even know what we truly want from a soul level because of the matrix programming, which isn't wrong or bad. I mean, it's why we incarnated, right? So extraordinary living, I think, for everybody is a level of joy and freedom and peace. I think everyone wants that, but we've been brainwashed to think that that comes from having a certain financial experience.
Yeah, yeah. And this brings me to, I remember at one point, years ago, it was before what I call like my fall or the dark night of the soul, where essentially I lost everything or gave it up or a little bit of both, whatever that was, people, especially in the spiritual realm and in the financial realm, would say, true happiness does not come from money. And I remember thinking, well, that's easy for you to say over there on your money. I'm sure that's really easy to say. Yet my happiest moments were on very polar sides of this money spectrum, right?
Mhm.
Where I had very little, quite honestly, I would say I had nothing. I had tens and thousands of dollars of debt. And this was such a huge turning point in my life when I was living at your house, and me and the kids were sharing what used to be your office, but we were sleeping there in that room. And for 9 months, I shared a room with my kids. I lost my vehicle. I wasn't able to renew the lease because my credit was so bad. I didn't have any income coming in. I was trying to file for WIC, but because I got child support, I couldn't even get WIC. We were at court. They then decreased my child support. It was just this, there was no material possession. And
Mhm.
yet, once I made it through the pain of what looked like I had lost, I found the happiest moments, like just true joy there. And I can also compare that to today, where happiest moments of my life are happening now. And both of them, is with financial freedom, and one was with what we could call financial burden, right? Now I live in overflow, and then I had debt.
Right.
Um, and the joy, the extraordinary moments had nothing to do with any of those. And so what I'm hearing is like you're inviting people to step out of this illusion that, okay, when you make this amount of money, or you have this house, or whatever the outside matrix says this is success, you can actually be living your extraordinary life now. And those financial things are either they're kind of inevitable. For me, it was always coming, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
the extraordinary piece was not the money.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And I'm not discounting. I don't want anyone to get confused. That's like, oh, money isn't spiritual. Money is very spiritual. It's not like the spiritual teachings are like, give up everything you have. That's the only way to happiness. That's not what I'm talking about at all. What the soul wants, what the soul wants is a full expansion, a full experience of all emotions. But what we're guided to at all moments is peace, freedom. That's our natural state. Peace, freedom, joy, right? To notice the abundance that is all around us all of the time. We are completely abundant. And going instead of allowing yourself to be peaceful and joyful now. It's the law of reversibility. You and I have spoken about this in Walking Between Worlds and Sophia Mystery School too. The law of reversibility. If you think that something is going to give you particular emotions, like having so much money in the bank, I will feel safe and peaceful and joyful. If that's the story you're telling yourself, the law is that feeling peaceful, safe, and joyful will make you a resonant match to bring in, to create, to experience that peace. And that's what extraordinary living really is. It's like, it's feeling a certain way, discovering who you are at a divine level, and having that experience instead of putting your joy and happiness after something else.
Right, right. So the essence of extraordinary is actually claiming it and being it and having it now, instead of like, okay, when my kids are older, or when I make this amount of money, or when I can retire, or whatever that when is. An extraordinary life is actually now. It's
Mhm.
now, it's not then.
Oh, yes, exactly. I love that too, because I remember it was a decade ago. I was turning 42 years old, and I had this existential crisis or midlife crisis. I don't know what you would call it, but I realized at 42 years old that I was living the future that my younger self thought things would be different. Right? Like through my 20s and 30s, I always believed I would be at a certain place by the time I was in my 40s. Like my success, I had projected my success into the future. And suddenly I was 42 years old. Not suddenly, I gradually got there, but my awareness was like, wow, I'm 42 years old and I thought I would be in a different place by now. Right? Thinking, oh, when the kids are older, oh, when I'm older, when whatever it was, the story was, I had projected this idea of happiness into my future. And so no matter, here I was in my future, and I was still projecting my happiness and success into the future,
Yeah.
right? Instead of, and that's what you and I have learned to master, I would say. And I'm not saying that we are like at the top, because this is a beautiful, joyful journey. And that's, our conversations every day are just so deep and profound, of like wrapping our human brains around what's possible. But knowing this is the moment to be joyful, like a joyful, peaceful, secure life is built on peaceful, joyful, secure moments.
Right. That is the common thread between that spectrum of financial experience that I've had, was coming into the moment, right?
Yeah.
Like if in that time where I felt like I was at my lowest, if I kept looking at only the matrix around me, the debt, my kid's father not playing a role, losing a business, losing my, right, all of those things would be like, okay, I just got to get through this and eventually I'll be happy again. But actually, it was so painful. It was so painful to think that this could be years, right? I had no idea. Mom and Todd, they thought it would be like 30 days. I don't know. I surrendered, like, this is the rest of my fucking life. I'm just living at home with my mom. Like, this is it. Here I am. My peak was at 27. Great. Like, for me, it was so painful to think it could be so much longer, that really what I held on to were those moments, right? The moment of cuddling my little kids before bed, right? We would sit on your couch in our living room. You had 2 living rooms, thankfully. And, I would be able to hold them and be like, oh, in this moment, we're okay. In this moment, we're just in this home with a lot of love. Maybe that isn't so different than what I've always wanted.
Yeah.
Or those early mornings, I would wake up. Even then, I was waking up at 5:15 to get a little bit of journaling. And in those moments, I could say, oh, is this not what I've always wanted? Right? Is this not what I've always wanted? Is this solitude, this peace, even if just in this moment, before I'm reminded of all the matrix hard shit that I've got going on, right? It was able to come into the present moment then and now. And I think that's where most people are struggling. And that's exactly what you were saying you had done up until 42. Oh, well, eventually, later, when the kids are older, when this is figured out, when I have enough clients, whatever it was, an extraordinary is actually already here. And that's where most people need the most support, is not actually making more money or having a better relationship or getting there. It's actually being here.
Yes, yes. And embracing all parts of yourself. And truly, like you talk about it too. We talk about like the shadow side, right? And all parts of us belong. There's um, this program, this matrix program that is earning a living, right? Like we talk about, like, earning a living, we have to earn money. I have to be good enough to, right? I have to, the whole time building my business early on, right, I was trying to prove to God or the universe that I was good enough to meet my soulmate, that I was worthy of love. Oh my gosh, how many years it took me to figure out, like, oh, I was in a constant state of proving myself. Okay, did I do enough? Can I have my soulmate now? Did I do enough? So there's that whole programming that we get to shed. and release, which doesn't have to be a long process, but it is a whole shift in identity. And that's where I really work deep with my clients, which, by the way, I have openings for 2 private clients, and Tori will put in the application to work with me one-on-one. But I go deep into that identification. We become the identity of our past, right? So do we want to be a victim of our past, or do we want to be the master that was born of that past? You and I were just talking about that today, like how our past experiences, although we could go, "Ugh, I can't believe that shouldn't have happened. That was so painful. I was just a little girl." And, we actually developed our identity at that time, and we can go, I need to heal from that. Or we can go, oh, wow, that created a character within me that made this extraordinary life possible. So that's where I really go deep with my one-on-one clients in excavating and cultivating, that shadow side with the light side. It's all one, and we need both to create and allow. We don't even have to create an extraordinary life. Our soul knows what we want, what is extraordinary for us, and it's allowing that to be revealed.
Yeah, and what a pressure off for those. Oh, I don't have to find my purpose. I don't have to figure out how to live my purpose. It's actually more about allowing it to unfold and to receive it. And I actually get asked this question often, like, well, who do you coach with, Megan? Who do you coach with? And it's Michelle. Like, who did you learn how to build $1 million business from? And right, all of these aspects of me that have allowed these certain things was because, absolutely because of the conversations that we have every day, because of the guidance that I've had from you, right? Like there's so many people that I talk to that I'm like, they're like, well, I've been working on this a long time. And I end up defaulting back to just my regular everyday life. And I think that would be very easy for me if I didn't have you as a guiding light, right? It's no wonder people stay in the matrix so long without a community, without a mentor. It's very easy to stay there when there is not a reflection of what else can be.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you. And even when you're a little, I demonstrated it, when you're younger, even though as a teenager, you probably weren't paying conscious attention, but that's when I really said yes to my soul, when the whole world was saying no, right? You can't do that. That's impractical. And so, but thank you for saying that, because that is what we do for each other, is that reflection of what's possible, right? Because either one of us at any moment can go, oh, this, we can go into fear, or we can go into the story of the matrix, and we have each other to go, oh, this is what's possible. And that's what's so important when you have a mentor or a coach, is the people our families that we were born into. And a lot of people don't even have the friendships or the community around that can go, oh, this is possible for you. Yes, that looks scary, but that's just programming, right? That's just programming. And you and I both in our coaching programs hold space for the potential and the possibility. And we are constantly reminding our clients what's possible. This is what your soul wants, right? And that is invaluable. There is no price to put on that. And that has ultimately what has supported me through my journey too, is having my mentor, which I would not be without, to shine that light, right? You shine the light. My mentor shines the light. We need that person outside of us to go, oh no, remember, this is what your soul is calling you forward into extraordinary. This is what you simply cannot have, the desire or the vision of something that is impossible for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So for anyone considering mentorship, I highly recommend Michelle. I mean, I might be biased, but it's working for me.
Thank you.
And yeah, I just can't imagine being left to my own logical mind devices. Oh, the different types of decisions I would make if I left it up to just me reflecting me, just me,
Yeah.
oh, me, right? My mind. And I think often where you come in is to call me forward into that heart center, right? Instead of thinking like, should I do this? Should I not? What is best? It's actually, oh no, we already have that answer. And I think that building an extraordinary life and mentorship is that it's the remembrance of how you can lead yourself, but how do we do that? That's where people get stuck, is how do I stop with the mind and the logic, which by the way is just a mirror of our past, not our future.
Exactly.
Right, so it's holding space for us to discover how we can do that on a regular basis, instead of only when we've got inspiration or only got the guts for a couple of days and then real life and matrix sets in. That's the support.
Exactly. Exactly. So Tori has put the link in the comments. It's a quick application to fill out. So because I work with a specific type of person, but don't let that stop you, right? Fill out the application. We can chat, hop on the phone and see what your extraordinary life looks like and how we can cultivate that together. And until next time, we're not going to have Magic Monday on next Monday because we will be, the entire team, Tori and you and I will be on a sacred medicine retreat for more expansion. That is something about Megan and I and Sophia Mystery School, that what we teach and how we coach is constantly expanding because we are committed to our spiritual and personal expansion to be able to take our clients higher and higher and higher.
Yeah, like you said earlier, you're like, we've really mastered this. And you said, and we know that we're still not there. Like, that's what I love so much about these sacred plant medicine journeys is, wow, there is still so much left, right? Like, it's just never ending. I mean, even this morning, I'm like, existential crisis, and we play in this unknown, in this quantum field. And I'm still like, wow, this is mind blowing, right? So yeah, we'll be coming back. We won't be here on Monday, but the following Monday, we will have so much to share with you all.
Definitely. We'll be talking about our medicine experiences. So for now, I look forward to seeing you on a private call if you feel moved and excited about what could be possible for you with mentorship. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye for now. Bye.